Okay, American lock 1100. Gonna see if I can get that green belt. Key works. Stiff, but it works. Alright. First we need to pick it, which is easy enough. We skip pin 1, we skip pin 2, set 3, set 4, set 5, then we come back out and set 2, and it unlocks. Simple. Now we take it apart. This is actually the second time I've done this, because the first time I dropped a pin at one point, wasn't paying attention. When I reached down to get it, the lock went off screen. It was probably fine, but better to just make sure everything stays on screen. So I'm doing it again. All right. We have that little guard in the back there. Pull that out. Just set that over to the side. Tissue to wipe some of this grease off. All right. So, first thing to do is to take this clip off. This tool seems to work okay for that. Just don't want it to go flying. There we go. Clips off. Now, the first time I took this apart, I did not use shims, because I don't have any. And a pin fell down into that groove right there. Caused me a little bit of trouble. So, I went out to the garage and got this 0.04 millimeter feeler gauge. And that seems to solve the problem. So I'll just... Probably be easier to do it this way. Wrap it around that. No, it's not easier. Just need to get it in there. There we go. And we'll just slide that in. Oh. Huh. Did I drop a pin? There's only 3. I must have pushed them up too high. 3 of the pins are in here. The last 2 pins are the spool pins. They're probably still in here. So I will just take this out, set it aside. You know what, before I get to that, I'll just set this here and dump out the pins that are in here in their proper spaces. There's 1 and 2. Shoot. Would have been better if they did not fall out at the same time. I'll just put the key in and figure out which one's which. Anyway, I'll come back to that in a minute. My other pins are probably still in here. There we go. There's the first one. So that's pin 1. Pin 1. Spring 1. There's pin 2. Spring 2. There's 3. Oh, 4. Yeah, I can already see it in there. So there's both of pin 4. So pin 4's got a spool. I don't know if you can, will it focus? Yeah. Kind of just let that fly. Yeah, there's 5. 5 is also a spool. Both 4 and 5 kind of short, so I guess they just get mashed all the way up in there, which is probably one of the things that makes this lock easier to pick than it should be, because I can just push them too far and it still picks the lock. So there we go. That is everything picked. Lift this up, see if we can get focused on those spools. You can see, I don't know, can you see? Will it stop shaking? Got 2 serrations on pins 1, 2, 3, and 5. None on 4. 4 and 5 are both spools, and then we've got these multiple serrations on these 1, 2, and 3 here. I don't know. I keep bumping the camera, but hopefully you can somewhat see that. Okay. So, picked and gutted. Now we have to put it back together. I'm not 100% sure that I got pins 1 and 2. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got pins 1 and 2 if they look right. But I'll put the key back in and we will find out when we just drop them in there, whether they're flush or not. So 1, shoot, there it is. One. Oh, look at that. Is it all the way? Yeah, there, the key wasn't all the way in. Yes, that is pin 1. Two. 3. 4. And 5. We'll set that aside. Now the trickier part, this is the front. I use a toothpick to put the springs back in, because it seems to work pretty well. There's 1. There's 2. Sometimes the springs don't come off the toothpick though, but a lockpick serves to scrape them off. Come on. Get on there. This is 3. That won't come off either. There we go. 4. 10 to 10. Perfect. And 5. All right, springs are in. Now the pins. Pin 1 is always easy. And of course, as soon as I say that, it goes flying. There we go. Pin 1. Pin 2 is a little trickier. Tilt it in. Yep. And pin 3 is the hardest of all. I usually just kind of throw it in there and then use a toothpick to tilt it into the right hole. No! Well, it went into hole number 4. There we go. Tilt that in. There we go. Now it's in hole 3. And then 4 and 5 are pretty easy because they've got that spool, which lets me grab onto them. 4 and 5. Simple. All right. Now we just throw the shim in there. Slide in the follower. Make sure the shim is a little bit past the follower. That'll be fine. And then just push it back in. Easy. Pull the shim out. Nice and easy. Now we want to put this little clip back on. There it goes. And now I should be able to take the key out. It's a stiff key. There we go. Key's out. Lock no longer turns. Good. All right, set that there. Lock body. Actually, put this on. Little guard goes there. There we go. And then we just slide that in to the lock. Click the face in place. Put this little thing in there. Cover it up. Turn it over. Screw goes in. If I can get it lined up with the hole. Yeah, that's the hard part of this process. The screw. Come on. Oh. Of course it's magnetic. There we go. Screw it together. All right, no extra pieces. That's good. Locks. Does it unlock? No, because I put it in backwards. Oh, wait. No. Okay. That's just me being an idiot. The key wasn't all the way in. Yes, it unlocks. I'm glad you got a chance to see me being stupid. So yes, 1100 picked, gutted, reassembled. It does work. That's a green belt.